That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, it's time to get to the video that everyone loves more than any other video every single week. And this is going to be the video where I go through and I break down your rosters. And we got a ton of submissions this week. Guys, the submissions are through Instagram and Twitter, just in case for some reason you're new to this channel. Yeah, if you want this to be done for your roster down the road, please make sure you are following there. You will see me go out there and either tweet, reply with the screenshot of your roster to be broken down on the video, or I'll put something on my Instagram story that says swipe up with the screenshot of your roster and I'll put it on the video. And I go through, pick out a couple random from Instagram and Twitter. So make sure y'all are going down and doing that, just because there's no way y'all can do that through YouTube. And also, I will say, just because we have been getting so many submissions, and I know that people have not necessarily been able to make it out to the live streams just because they are busy on Saturday night. Guys, it's completely fine. This is something I really have not promoted all season just because I didn't want to just be throwing ads at y'all or anything. But we actually have a Patreon where I can go through and I can do the same thing specifically for your roster. I'm not going to make it a video. I'll make it a short write-up. It'll probably just be like a little tiny essay that I send you with what I think you can do with your roster. I will leave that link down in the description of the video. I will also leave that link down in the comments below. If y'all would like to support the channel, if y'all do like the content, guys, I'm telling you right now, supporting on Patreon means the absolute world to me. And at the same time, I can go through and try to get you a little bit more personalized advice. Okay, so let's get into the video and let's start it off with our first team. And this team is going to be headlined with Deshaun Watson here at quarterback. And guys, if y'all are new for us making these videos, how I like to do it is I like to break it down position by position. So here we have Deshaun Watson at quarterback. And what I really like about this team is they don't have a quarterback on their bench that's really allowing them to go out there and optimize how many running backs they are going to be able to fit on. Because we know with Deshaun Watson, he is that top 5 quarterback option for us rest of season. He has that elite rushing equity as well as that passing volume in the Houston Texans offense. So love the idea of not wasting a bench spot on a quarterback. I mean, if he gets injured, just stream. If not, we plan to start him every week regardless. Now let's go to the running back position where you have Dalvin Cook, Chase Edmonds, congrats on having Chase Edmonds, Melvin Gordon, and then on the bench, you have Joe Mixon, who's on bye this week, Antonio Gibson, Chris Carson, and Zach Moss. If we look way further down, Myles Gaskin as well. I mean, man, this is where you are just a dominant team. With your running back spot, I mean, man, not only do you have that top-end talent in the Dalvin Cook and the Joe Mixon, but you also have that elite level depth with guys that most players would be desperate to put in their running back 2 spots. Yet here you are just loaded with them. So I think if we are going to make any trades on this team, we're going to try to utilize some of that depth. And if we go over to your wide receiver position, man, talk about top-end talent. You have Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, and then Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson. And yeah, man, absolutely fantastic. I love that you have 4 wide receivers here. The only thing that I would be looking to do, though, on this roster is if you could, I would love to try to package together one of your depth running backs. Like if you could package together Myles Gaskin and a Mike Evans to go out and get a wide receiver upgrade, maybe someone like a Tyreek Hill, that is something I would love to do. Guys, y'all know I am just extremely concerned with Mike Evans now that Antonio Brown's coming back into this offense, knowing that every game that Chris Godwin has been healthy this year, we've actually seen Mike Evans get less than 10% of his team's targets. I mean, just we are really trying to avoid Mike Evans in fantasy football. I think you use some of your running back depth to really package together with Mike Evans to try to get that better wide receiver. But overall, man, you have so much running back talent here as well as that top-end talent with a Devontae Adams and a Dalvin Cook. I think we are going to end up having to rate this team an A, especially when we look at your tight end position where you have Noah Fant. Noah Fant is a top 5 option rest of season for us. All right, now let's get to our second roster here. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Let's go fast. Let's look at the quarterback spot where you have Ben Roethlisberger and Carson Wentz. Now, I really like having these 2 quarterbacks where you can go through and play the matchup with each player. I know when I said we only wanted 1 quarterback, that was specifically for the Deshaun Watson roster. Deshaun Watson is a much better option over Ben Roethlisberger and Carson Wentz because with those other 2 quarterbacks, they're not necessarily guys that you want to be plugging in your lineup each and every week despite the matchup. So love the idea of having both of them here playing whoever has the better matchup. Now at running back, I mean, obviously it's going to look good when you have Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, Justin Jackson, Kareem Hunt, Joe Mixon. I mean, this is the definition of a fantasy flock roster where you have Joe Mixon and DeAndre Swift on that same team. What I love about this team as well at the running back spot is that you have Justin Jackson to come in and provide you that production right away while we wait for Joe Mixon to come back. Where this team is a little bit weak, though, is with your depth at wide receiver. At wide receiver, you're currently sitting with Allen Robinson and Tyler Lockett. Now, I am completely fine, and I'm actually excited about having those two wide receivers as my wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. But if we go to your bench to look at your depth, you have a Travis Fulgham and an Emmanuel Sanders. And I'll say real quick, guys, with Emmanuel Sanders, this may just be a wide receiver that I'm completely giving up on in 2020. Yes, he is coming back healthy, but at the same time, we're having Michael Thomas come back into this lineup. And even when there was no Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders was operating as the wide receiver 1 for Drew Brees, he was still not someone that we wanted to put in our lineup every single week. So now that we're adding a wide receiver that's going to get 30% of his team's targets, I mean, what are we talking about here, guys? I really don't want anything to do with Emmanuel Sanders. So on this roster, a move that we would look to make is after you get both Kareem Hunt and Joe Mixon back this week out of bye, I would really like to try to package together a Justin Jackson and a Travis Fulgham to get a wide receiver that we're a little bit more excited about. Because, guys, with Travis Fulgham, very similar to how I'm worried about Mike Evans, I am worried about Travis Fulgham and that he is slowly but surely seeing more weapons get added to this Philadelphia Eagles offense, which, yes, should take away some of the defensive attention, increasing the efficiency of Travis Fulgham. But at the end of the day, we are going to see his overall volume go down. I am more concerned about the volume than the efficiency. So when we see Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Zach Ertz, Jalen Reagor, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, all eventually added back to this offense one by one, I really think that the target share for Travis Fulgham is just not necessarily going to be there, and I would love to go out there and see what I could get for him in a trade. But when we are looking to grade this roster, I think that what we are lacking here is that top-end talent at the wide receiver spot in terms of getting someone for your flex. I think that this team is going to look very, very good when we have Joe Mixon firing on all cylinders, and this team has a ton of upside if DeAndre Swift can continue to merge in Detroit. But as it stands now, I think that we are going to have to give this roster a B+. I would really like to see you make a move with a Justin Jackson and with Travis Fulgham after this week to see what kind of wide receiver upgrade you could get. All right, so let's get to our third team, and this team is going to be headlined with Kyler Murray here at quarterback. And what I really like about this team is very similar to what we said about Deshaun Watson. We have no backup quarterback here. I really like the way you're optimizing your bench. And then we go to your running back spots, man, where you have Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, and if we go to your bench, you have Aaron Jones, Latavius Murray, and Zach Moss. So I really love both Zach Moss and Latavius Murray as bench options, knowing if anything happens to the starter ahead of them and they kind of come in and get that full workload, they are both guys that we could expect to be top 15 running backs. So love using your roster spots on those type of running backs instead of a backup quarterback. And then when we are looking at your wide receiver position, we are seeing Robbie Anderson, Chase Claypool, A.J. Brown, Sterling Shepard, and Tyler Boyd. Here, I think that this is clearly the weak point on this roster. You don't necessarily have a wide receiver that you're really excited about outside of A.J. Brown. Personally, I am completely fine having Robbie Anderson as our wide receiver too. But then when we get to your bench, I mean, you have a bunch of the guys that are about the same. So what I would love to do is I would love to try to package together Tyler Boyd and a player like Sterling Shepard and see if I can get an upgrade at wide receiver. Honestly, I just don't necessarily like having those guys that we know, yes, they are going to get targets. They're going to be great bye-week fill-ins on our bench. Right now, I would prefer just having the players that we can start with confidence if they end up hitting their top range of outcomes. Now at tight end, you have the combination of Noah Fant, Dallas Goedert. Love this combination. Both top 10 tight ends for me rest of season. Now, one other thing that I'm seeing on this roster that I don't believe is optimal, man, I really don't like having both the Houston Texans and the Los Angeles Rams. I understand the Rams are on bye. You don't want to drop the Rams. But guys, unless we are looking at a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, like the Indianapolis Colts, if they're that caliber of defense, I'm completely fine holding them through their bye week. But we are just not seeing that at the moment with the Los Angeles Rams. So please, man, over a Los Angeles Rams, I would rather just play the matchups here. I would just cut that defense from my roster entirely, and I would go out and just stream the position. But thank you guys. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. I think that's going to be all that we have time to do. I am going to be live streaming tonight and tomorrow morning to get through more of your teams when you come in and ask. And also, guys, if you would like to support the show, if you would like me to give you a write-up on your own personal team, go down, go join our Patreon, join the flock. I truly appreciate it. Nothing helps us grow more. And that's all I got for y'all, and have a great day.